Welcome back, everybody, to Whiteboard Finance. As you know by now, my name is Marko, and I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. Today, we're talking about a very hot topic. We're talking about the blockchain, baby. So blockchain is kind of synonymous with cryptocurrency and especially with Bitcoin. So there's a lot of buzz around this technology, even though it's been around for a number of years now. I think it's finally starting to come into the mainstream. So in this video, we're going to go over the 5 best blockchain stocks for 2018. Stay tuned. Number 1 is Broadridge Financial Solutions. Broadridge is my first pick because they've already worked with companies and other banks that are using blockchain technology. They've completed a successful pilot test of a blockchain-based technology in collaboration with 2 other large European banks, and this was in October. So only about 3-4 months ago, they've already started completing transactions using their own blockchain-based technology, and I think that this is putting them a step ahead of everyone else. Their technology helps to automate operations, enhance auditability, and increase both efficiency and speed. So essentially, they're taking these very complicated financial transactions and making them very transparent and efficient for everyone to see. So I think that's a good thing because it's giving them more credibility in terms of being transparent and open with their customers and with their clients. This isn't Broadridge's first rodeo into blockchain either. The company partnered with JP Morgan in 2016 to successfully test its technology with shareholder proxy voting. So for those of you that are familiar with annual reports and voting because you're a shareholder in a company, this is essentially what that is. So their goal, again, is to make this more transparent and easier. So considering Broadridge was already the largest U.S. provider of proxy voting services, it made sense for it to step into this market. Let's take a look at the fundamentals. Broadridge is growing its bottom line at a pretty solid rate. They have earnings coming in at $3.13 a share in 2017, and it's expected to increase to $4.14 a share by 2019. Broadridge has 2 factors working in its favor that justify its price and higher valuations in the future. The first is that they're a leader within their industry. So essentially, they have 80% of outstanding shares for investor communications actually are processed by Broadridge. Think about that for a second. 80% of every outstanding share of every stock out there, that communication is processed through Broadridge. That's essentially 80% of the US market, you guys. That is a huge chunk. Also, all top 10 global banks are its clients, which again leads back to that first point that they are a leader in their industry. Second, their client retention rate is at an astounding 98%. That's one of the most difficult tasks, you guys, is to be able to retain the clients that you spend so many marketing dollars to get. So pretend that you're like AT&T or Verizon. You market, you spend all this money to get Marko as a client, and he leaves after 1 month because he's not happy with the service. You spend all that marketing dollars and all that time and energy to acquire a client, and then they leave. So at a 98% client retention rate, that is really good, and I see that being a huge part of their valuation for the future. Broadridge also offers a 1.6% dividend yield, and they've actually raised it year over year. So I know 1.6% isn't the highest dividend yield in the world, but I'm actually just looking at the big picture. If they're able to raise this consistently, that shows that either their money management is really good, that their corporate management is really good, or that overall that their cash is very strong. So it's probably a combination of those 3 things, but any company that's consistently raised its dividend is pretty healthy in my opinion. Obviously, the longer they've done that, the better, and Broadridge has done that over the past few years. Their 1-year return has been about 36.48%, and their 5-year return has been about 289%. So that means over the course of 5 years, if you started investing in Broadridge, you've almost tripled your money, you guys. So those are incredible returns, especially for a financial industry or a financial sector company. Broadridge easily checks out on fundamentals and future growth, so this is why I think it's going to be a great blockchain stock in 2018 and beyond. Number 2, MasterCard. MasterCard announced that it's now opening up its blockchain to potential merchants and banks as an alternative and potentially more efficient method of paying for goods and services. MasterCard is also targeting cross-border payments between businesses as the primary purpose for its blockchain, which can only be used by invitation at this point. MasterCard's blockchain operates independently of a cryptocurrency, and instead it accepts payments in traditional local money, which is seen by some as a positive. For one, businesses could cut costs by using the blockchain to send cross-border payments, which usually pass through several foreign banks along the way, which means they incur fees at every stop. So MasterCard's blockchain, however, would cut out those middlemen and connect a purchaser's bank directly to that of the supplier. This would remit the payment more efficiently and possibly faster. Let's take a look at their fundamentals or some numbers over the past few years. Their one-year return has been 42.2%, and their five-year return has been about 187%, which is great. The number of major online retailers accepting payment in Bitcoin dropped to just 3 in 2017, which I think is kind of funny, compared to 483 who accept MasterCard and Visa. So I don't really see this as a threat to MasterCard just yet, and I'm talking about cryptocurrency. That's something you should be aware of, but in the long run, I think that MasterCard will adopt a blockchain and they will be a great player in the space for years to come. Number 3, fan favorite, Microsoft. So I'm just kidding when I say fan favorite. I've worked for one of the biggest Microsoft resellers in the Midwest, so I'm not coming from a biased opinion. I just have pretty deep knowledge and understanding of Microsoft's business and how they operate. So Microsoft is committed to bringing blockchain to the enterprise, and they're working with customers, partners, and blockchain community to continue advancing its enterprise readiness through the COCO framework. So COCO will be compatible by design with any ledger protocol and can operate in the cloud and on-premise. So take a look at this screenshot, everybody. I'm not going to sit here and read this verbatim, but I do want you to take a look at this and potentially pause the video and read this for yourselves. I'm going to go straight to the bottom to the last 2 paragraphs because I think it's really important. Check these out. By providing these capabilities, COCO offers a trusted foundation with which existing blockchain protocols can be integrated to deliver complete, enterprise-ready ledger solutions, opening up broad, high-scale scenarios across industries and furthering blockchain's ability to digital transform business. We have already begun exploring COCO's potential across a variety of industries, including retail, supply chain, and financial services. Boom! That is huge. So by design, COCO is going to be open and compatible with any blockchain protocol, and Microsoft has already begun integrating it into the cryptocurrency called Ethereum. So some of you may be, I'm pretty sure most of you are already familiar with Ethereum. So Microsoft's intent is to distribute the source code to the development community in early 2018, and that's why I'm putting them on my top 5 blockchain stocks to watch for 2018. So let's take a look at Microsoft's 1 year. It's 37.3%. The 5-year is 219%. And what I love about Microsoft is they have such a solid dividend yield for being still what I consider somewhat of a growth company. It's at 1.96%. So industry enthusiasm for blockchain is growing, and while it will still take time for blockchain to achieve enterprise scale, I think Microsoft is well positioned to adopt it and take over in 2018. Number 4, Visa. Visa has rolled out the first pilot phase of its blockchain-based business-to-business payment service. It's called B2B Connect. So this is very similar to MasterCard. Visa plans to use the platform to ease cross-border payments by facilitating direct payments between institutions. So again, just like MasterCard, they're cutting out the middleman in the industry, which the whole entire financial sector relies on at this point. So they're already working with US-based Commerce Bank, South Korea's Shinhan Bank, the Union Bank of Philippines, and the United Overseas Bank based in Singapore. So Visa's global head of solutions, Kevin Phelan, said that the banks are trialing live bank-to-bank transactions over the platform, which is a really good sign. So following this first phase of the project, phase 2 will set the project to move to a commercial launch or a commercial phase, and it's slated to occur in the middle of 2018, which is why Visa is on this list, you guys. The 1 year for Visa has been about 42.2% ROI, and the 5 year has been about 183. For those of you that remember, I actually recommended Visa as one of my blue chip stocks for 2018. That was in my video called Stocks for Beginners in 2018. And I think them getting involved in blockchain just helps the argument. So that's why I put them on this list as well. Number 5, Cisco Systems. So Cisco is looking for ways to move beyond its hardware, and blockchain could give Cisco a viable path to that growth. Cisco is one of the 200 companies that are part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. So these are governments and companies from all over the world and multiple industries testing out a version of Ethereum's blockchain. So I think that this is pretty cool, you guys, especially for a company like Cisco, who's known to be, somewhat conservative in their growth tactics. What makes Ethereum's blockchain uniquely attractive to businesses is that it incorporates smart contracts that help verify, facilitate, or enforce the negotiation of a contract. So you can take a look at this screenshot. Cisco is also working to craft its own blockchain systems. In October, the company filed for the trademark of a blockchain platform that can identify different connected devices, monitor the activity of those devices, and evaluate how trustworthy those devices are when connected to a network. It would also continually and automatically assess new devices when added to the network. So in other words, Cisco believes it has a game-changing blockchain to track the Internet of Things. Internet of Things is getting huge, from smartphones to smart printers to smart refrigerators. I think everything in the future is eventually going to become quote-unquote smart, so this could be a huge play for Cisco. Let's take a look at their 1 year. The 1 year has been about 27%, and their 5 year has been about 88%. These are really good gains, especially for a company that pays a solid and great dividend like Cisco does. And I think that with this blockchain play, there's still some room for growth. And those are my top 5 blockchain stocks going into 2018. Now you may be saying, what about Hive blockchain? What about XYZ blockchain company? For the most part, those are mostly just penny stocks at this point. And if you want to take on that risk and invest in those, by all means, go ahead. The reason I chose these 5 is because they're 5 reputable companies that have shown consistent growth that are starting to delve into the blockchain technology. They're not necessarily betting the whole house or their whole business on it. So if you want to take on more risk, take a look at Hive blockchain, and there's a couple other ones as well. All you have to do is a quick Google search. So thank you so much for watching. If you got any value out of this video whatsoever, please hit the subscribe button below. Like the video and also share it with your friends and family. I would really appreciate it, especially being a new channel. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a prosperous day. Okay, so we're going to play Pictionary here. What is this? This thing right here. Okay, now let me draw something else. It's 2 words. We're guessing 2 words here. Okay. Can't say anything because it's Pictionary. Okay. That'll be the question of the day. Let's see if you can guess what I'm trying to draw here.